Good morning. Good Monday morning. Hold on just a second here, folks. December 14th, 2020. Good Monday morning. I'm your host, BKP, and it's time to get right back this morning to BKP Politics. A lot going on today. A little bit of a different kind of show, all right? Going to go a little different direction today. You know, we know the Supreme Court chose not to hear the Texas lawsuit because, federalism and, states' rights and standing. And do we want the Supreme Court and do we want other states to get involved with other states and how they run their election? I understand. I get all that. Okay. And I think a lot of you out there, Friday afternoon, okay, afternoon, just really got all the wind taken out of your sails. Okay. And I'm here to say this morning, don't lose hope. This show is about hope today. Hope in America, the greatest country on the earth. I, for one, know this morning on 12/14/20 that the election is corrupt, was corrupt. It was a corrupt election. I do feel that Donald Trump won, not only won, but in a landslide. I do feel very strongly this morning, nothing has changed my mind that he won Wisconsin, Michigan, okay, Pennsylvania and Georgia, to say the least. We won't go into some other possibilities out there. Maybe he won California. We don't know, but nothing has changed my mind, okay, that Donald Trump won the election. All right. Now, I, for one, and so do you, most of you out there, pay attention. I paid attention when President Trump said, when this mail-in ballots, when it goes into place, we'll never win again. Republicans will never win again if we don't stop this. I watched every bit of it. And we knew this was going to happen. I mean, I, for one, am not shocked on December 14th that, the Electoral College will meet today and vote to give Joe Biden 270 electoral votes. I'm not shocked he will receive those today, okay? But that being said, I got a lot of messages Friday evening, a lot of messages. The first message I received, I was over in Banks County Friday evening with Kelly Loeffler, Senator Kelly Loeffler, at an event there, and I kept refreshing my phone. It was 6 o'clock, 6:15, whatever. And I kept refreshing, hoping that we would see something from the Supreme Court. And I was driving home, and how on my car, it'll give me a notification. There's a text message. So I'm driving home. There's a notification. A notification on a text message. And it was my sister Lee, which has been on the show many times. And it was Lee, and it just said, I hit listen, and it said cowards. It said cowards. I said, oh, okay. I know what happened. Then my car just kept tinging, right? Because I was just hitting one text message after another. People were saying some things. They were saying we're screwed. They were saying we're something else, whatever. But, Saturday I watched. And this is what's amazing. And this is why I decided to go this direction. Saturday I watched the March for Trump rally in D.C. I watched almost all of it, okay? And yes, the only thing they know how to give me number Let's go through these for a minute, okay? Because we're going to have three guests this morning that attended the rally. Two of the guests has spent the last 2 weeks on the bus tour. So let me give you just some of the pictures, okay? Now I'm thinking Friday night, okay? Friday night, we get this from the Supreme Court. Would that discourage patriots to not show up Saturday? What would it do? Would there be enough patriots Friday night say, you know what, this thing is over. There's no hope. There's no chance. Not in America. No, not in America. Couldn't happen. Didn't matter what the Supreme Court said Friday night. Patriots were going to D.C. Saturday. Hundreds of thousands, and I will let the guest this morning tell us what it was like. Here's number one, Mike Lindell. Give me number one. Give me number two. Now, number four, this is the March for Trump bus tour, okay? From Florida to D.C., okay? Number four. And I want to show you the route they've been on for the last 2 weeks. Number 8, you can see the stops. These are the numbers of stops up through South Carolina, Georgia, back into Georgia, through North Carolina, Tennessee. Now look at number 9, all right? Look at the stops. Look at the map. This St. Louis, Tennessee, Indiana, Iowa, Ohio. Give me number 10. This is way up north there. I bet they had a little cold there. Minneapolis. Let's see, Iowa, St. Louis, Michigan, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, back down to D.C. Want to give a big shout out to Mike Lindell. Give it number 11 for supporting the My Pillow guy. Number 13. Okay, Stop the Steal. Number 14, Mike Lindell. Number 20, okay. It's the President of the United States Marine Force One doing a flyover the Patriots Saturday. We've just begun to fight, America. We've just begun to fight. Number 21, Sebastian Gorka. Is that his name? Sebastian Gorka? We'll correct that if it's wrong. Number 3, General Flynn. 23. My apology. 23, General Flynn. Number 4, our good friend Vernon Jones. Number 25, Senator from Pennsylvania, Doug Mastriano. Let me give a shout out to Doug Mastriano. He kicked this off. Okay, there will be hearings in the Arizona Senate today. Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania and Gettysburg kicked this off. Without the Pennsylvania hearings that Wednesday in Gettysburg, there would not have been Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona. We would not have seen the true patriots, the American patriots that came out and said, hey, I was there. I watched the steal. I watched the corruption. Hey, we have the video of the suitcases coming out from under the curtain. Doug Mastriano, state senator of Pennsylvania, was there. Pastor Locke. Let me give a quick shout out, number 26, to Pastor Locke. This guy was amazing. If you didn't get to hear Pastor Locke, it was just absolutely amazing. And here's our friend, number 28, that will be with us this morning. She's from Pickens County. So give a shout out to represent Pickens County, Georgia. Bay Cagle sang the national anthem yesterday. But not only did she sing it yesterday, she sung. Yeah, I guess so. She was on stage saying Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem all across this country. There's hope. Okay, so my brother goes to take over the FBI, number 21, with one of his friends. They're at the FBI. They went to take over the FBI yesterday, okay? He will be on the show. Number 32, obviously Lee, you know my sister, she's there taking down the Chinese Communist Party. That's her and her husband, Mike. Here's the big shout out of the morning, number 33. Got to give the big shout out to my niece. This is Sally. I don't know if I'm supposed to say number 33, if I'm supposed to say Sally Maria. Okay. Do you have 33? Or do you just have to There you go. Now, this is my sister, Trump USA Lee. And with the flag with the glasses on, next generation of Trump-a-maniacs, I guess. That's Sally Maria, my niece. Yeah, I'll just say it. Here she is, number 34. Here's a better picture of Sally Maria. Give her a big shout out, number 34. Okay. Our show is dedicated to the hundreds of thousands of patriots across this country that have hope, that have not given up. Did I send 34? I don't know. They've not given up. They have hope in this country. I have hope this morning. I know you're concerned, okay? You're concerned about, can you hear me say 34 or did I not send it? Maybe I didn't send it. Did I send 34? Okay, so don't know if maybe my picture's froze in the studio. We never know what happens, you know. There's 34. Thank you, Emily. I know maybe it stuck there. This is my niece, Sally Maria, with her Trump flag and her hat representing. So this morning, let's just go to the media and let's get this out of the way. Number 36, many of us heard the applause. The applause at the Army-Navy game the cadets gave the President of the United States. So number 36, but see, electors to seal Trump's fate. They're enjoying this day. So what is December 14th, 2020? The electors meet. The Electoral College meets today to cast their votes. Early voting starts today, but the media is enjoying this. Electors to seal Trump's fate. Okay, give me number 37. They're excited about it. All right. Number 38. They are so excited. They know. This media knows. You got to think of a couple things here. This media, number 38, they're so corrupt. I think there's a poll that says 17% of voters would have changed their vote if the Hunter Biden story would have been reported. And out of those 17%, 30% were Democrats. How about the poll out there that says 36% of all voters think that the election was stolen? 10% of those are Democrats. 10% of Democrats feel that way. Interesting. Okay. They're bragging this morning. Number 39. I'm just showing you some of the things going on in the media. Number 39. How about this? Number 40. Corruption on steroids. I'm telling you. Biden's eyeing Samantha Powers, Susan Rice. Wow, corruption on steroids. Get me in the UN So when the trillions of dollars is circulated in the pandemic, we could send Hunter somewhere. The Chinese, right? Swalwell shouldn't be removed from his post. He should be arrested, Eric Swalwell. The Chi-Coms, as Rush calls them, right? We're going to find out today. Is it being released today? Maybe as we speak, the thousands of Chi-Com spies in our businesses and our government. We know Joe Biden. They now know Joe Biden's son, Hunter, and Joe. There's other levels of corruption. They are looking forward to this, number 42. Pence to preside over final tally in January 6th, joint session of Congress. Now, January 6th, that's when the joint session of Congress meets, and Pence has to announce the winner. The Vice President of the United States has to announce the winner. Here you go, number 43. First COVID vaccination in U.S. expected today. Now, folks, yesterday on all the morning shows, all of them, give me 44. And then go to 46. MSNBC 49. And number 53, A Day of Hope. All of the media cameras, all of their cameras were staged up there in Michigan yesterday, watching this historic day of hope as the first coronavirus vaccine vials came off the line into the boxes and onto the trucks. Not one mention of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. Not one mention of the therapeutics. Not one mention of Trump in a positive way in any of the news reports. This morning or yesterday on any of the shows, they all opened up, from Chris Wallace to all of them, with this bright morning of hope in America because of the vaccine. Record time because of Donald J. Trump cutting red tape, warp speed. Not a one of them. Number 54. Now, I have a video, and this is a concern, and we will get time to talk about this today because early voting starts today. Will you go vote? Listen to Stacey Abrams talk about the Democrats ready for January 5th. Let's play that video, Emily.
Gubernatorial candidate, the founder of voting rights organization Fair Fight, Stacey Abrams. She's also the author of the book, Our Time Is Now. Leader Abrams, thanks for joining us. So Democrats have won just one of the 8 statewide runoff elections held in Georgia since 1988, but some Republicans are worried that President Trump's continued baseless claims of a rigged election might discourage their voters from showing up this time. Do you think that's real, or is that just Democratic wishful thinking?
Democrats are prepared to win this election because this is the first runoff where we have the level of investment and engagement that it takes to win a runoff. We know from the numbers that we're in a good place. 1.2 million absentee ballots have been requested thus far. And just to put that into context, 1.3 million were requested for all of the general election. And of that 1.2 million, 85,000 of those applications are from voters who did not vote in the general election, and they are disproportionately between the ages of 18 and 29 and disproportionately people of color. What that signals is that there's an enthusiasm for Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, and it signals that we understand that we need to make a plan to vote and deliver this election. What Donald Trump is doing, the disinformation is deeply problematic. I don't know if he's going to help or harm his team, but we know that on our side of the conversation, we are pushing for leaders who will actually do the work of delivering COVID relief to Georgia.
So President Trump has been repeatedly attacking your governor, your lieutenant governor, your secretary of state there in Georgia for refusing to overturn the election results. Last week, the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, paid for by all of our tax dollars, tweeted, "Right now, Governor Brian Kemp is no different than failed gubernatorial leftist Stacey Abrams. Sad to see indiscernible rhinos and Dems." Now, I know you're not a fan of Brian Kemp, the governor whom you ran against in 2018. Do you give him credit for standing up for basic rule of law and election results, given all the pressure he's been facing from President Trump?
You shouldn't have to get credit for doing your job. And the reality is that Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp are doing the jobs they were elected to do, and they're following the laws of the land. What we want to pay attention to, though, is what happens next, because Georgia Republican senators have already said that they intend to restrain and to repeal so many of the pieces of voter suppression mitigation that we've been able to achieve. They want to make it harder to vote by absentee ballot. They want to make it harder for people to access the right to vote. And so I'm going to judge Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger by what they do in January. Do they stand up not only for the rule of law, but for the 5 million voters who made their voices heard in the general election? Or do they allow themselves to be pulled back into that maelstrom that says the only way to win is to silence?
Folks, last March, now keep this in mind, Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State of Georgia, okay, went into a meeting with Democrats and agreed to a unconstitutional decree in how to run the elections in Georgia for the federal presidential elections. Now, he went in there, made the deal, and he came out, and let me say this, he came out, and the AJC wrote an article, and Democrats gave the meeting a glowing response. There were glowing quotes about the meeting from Democrats in the AJC. Now, like I've said on this show how many times, when you have a meeting with the Democrats and you come out of there and there are glowing quotes from Democrats in the AJC, you got rolled. You got rolled. Now, all we keep hearing is, Trump needs to back off Kemp. We do hear this. He needs to back off Governor Brian Kemp and and Secretary of State Raffensperger. No, let me say one more thing. What did this lady, when Stacey Abrams tells you that they're in a good place, their enthusiasm, their ballot harvesting program, they're in a good place. And when Stacey Abrams goes on TV and says that Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of Brad Raffensperger have done their job, when she says they've done their job, just like the December meeting, you got rolled. When Stacey Abrams is not bad-mouthing you, when Stacey Abrams is upholding you in your decisions, you got rolled. Stacey Abrams says they're in a good place and they're ready. Are you going to vote? Today starts early voting. One more, number 57, okay? Really quick, 57. And Cleveland's baseball team will drop the Indians team name. Oh, sorry, folks. Let's take a break. When we come back, okay, don't lose hope. This show is dedicated to all the American patriots that went to Washington, D.C. So you out there, keep the hope. Take a break.
Hello, My name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
All right, folks, we're back. We're back. Sorry for a little delay there, and we're sorry we're a little behind from the commercials, but our viewers and our guests and that we have on the show, they actually have jobs and things like that, and things they have to deal with throughout the day. So we're fortunate to get people on. Our focus this morning, as I said, our focus this morning is hope. I still have hope in America. And I'm going to tell you, after the Supreme Court's decision Friday night, there was a thought, how many people would show up in D.C.? So our show this morning, we have 3 guests. All 3 of us this morning attended the rally in D.C. We're going to start first with Jerry Pritchard. Jerry, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. Just fighting the elements of the weather. What's going on?
Yeah, I see 7 to 14 inches of snow. Has the snow started?
Yeah, it's coming in through Wednesday, so you got to get the salt ready. You got to get, the plow in the truck. A little bit goes into it, and a little bit goes into it. But you know what? I can deal with this storm. I can't deal with the politics. I can deal with this. This I got a handle on. The other stuff, I don't know. Who's got a handle on that?
All right. Well, talk about the rally this weekend. About how many people were there? Because we get the media accounts.
It's hard to count because you've got them spread out through the streets. Where I was, right at the plaza, I don't know, 30, 40,000, easy, okay? And then through the streets, maybe 10, 20. So I should maybe 50,000 if you went through the whole thing. 50 to 100,000. But I'd say maybe more. Maybe about 100,000 people right where I was. It's hard to count them. I'm thinking 100,000, but you got them through the streets, and then maybe down towards the Capitol, maybe you had another 100,000. That's my guess. It's hard to count them. I'll put it to you, there's a lot. I don't know where the number shakes out, but there's a lot.
So
definitely a lot.
What was the mood of the rally yesterday?
What's that?
What was the mood of the rally yesterday?
What was the movement of the rally?
The mood. What was the mood of the rally yesterday?
The mood of the rally is, here's the thing. You're standing in when Trump said drain the swamp, you look around at all the federal buildings around you, and then you look at the people at the rally, and you feel like they're in the middle of the swamp, throwing out life jackets to the speakers. I was telling Lee this. I said, honestly, I'm not a big DC goer. I didn't go on a field trip. All right. But I said, you could just feel the evil that's going on around you in DC, and the people can too. You got to understand, the people are patriotic. That's the American people. The people that's not at that rally, and I don't mean ones that are Trumpers, that's not at that rally, that's lying to you on the news, you have a problem, man. You really do. The thing of the rally is, those people are I don't know how it shakes out, but I do know they're fired up. They're definitely fired up people. They're coming from all over the country. It's a fired up country. It's not just a fired up small group. They're coming. There were people, they were heading from down to Georgia this week, some of the people. I don't know what's going on for the election down there. They're going that way. I don't know. They're fired up people. They can't get their point across.
Well,
they're definitely fired up people, huh?
But let me say this. You feel completely that I seen Doug Mastriano there. Is that your state senator? He is a Pennsylvania state senator. I don't know if he's yours, but I seen Doug Mastriano there. Now you have attended a lot of the rallies in Harrisburg, also.
Everyone.
And were you there Friday?
Where?
At Harrisburg.
No, because I was going down Saturday here. No.
Oh, okay.
Because they're becoming just a group of guys chanting the same thing. What's happening is the big one was in D.C. You know, I kind of got to pick my battle, and you know, you put troops in certain battles. That one's dwindling down, because people are burning out, but they're not giving up. They're just knowing going to the Capitol steps and standing there chanting "Stop the Steal." Hey, you just lost another day's pay. That's not. I'm done with that. Here's what I see. What I see from these rallies. This one's different because I know the people. It's Trump. Trump goes down to the Army-Navy game. They go, "Wow, it's Trump. It's patriotism." That's the patriots. You don't know what the patriots are? It's us. The Trumpers, not the rhinos. Rhinos didn't bring this kind of enthusiasm. Trump did. People carry American flags. That's who we are. We're Americans. These are the patriots. And what is scary is when the deep state, the corruption, your governor, all these, they've got to be unpatriotic. They have to be. These are patriots. Patriots perform patriotic duties, rallies, flag waving, 4th of July, going to church, going to school. These are your patriots. They're there. They're there, and they're all going to go back to their towns, and it's going to be ugly.
All right.
And it's going to be ugly.
When you say it's going to be ugly, what's that mean? Because you were at the rally, and I've been to rallies before, so I know where you're coming from. You met a lot of people from all across this country. All across this country, you met people.
Oh, yeah, because I'll tell you. Well, I have to say this. All the people are there under the same feelings I'm there. Okay? They didn't. There's no other reason to be there. This is not an anti-abortion rally. This is strictly a patriotic rally. And they're going to go back with the same emotions. They're going to go back with the same emotions, and what they do with them, I don't know. Because what has happened is, Biden will never be the president. They can put a title on his head. Hey, they put a king on the Burger King guy's head. That don't make him a king. All right? He'll never be the president. They can put a title on his head. He won't be the president. President of the United States honors the flag. He's patriotic. He won't be the president. Now, all your patriots has got a president, and that's Donald Trump. What they do about it, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But there's not the people there. I don't know if they're just going to let them march in their houses, take the guns. I don't know if they're going to say, hey, like they did in St. Louis, we want your house, you get out. I don't know if maybe they'll just leave and say, hey, see you later. But they're willing to fight for the country, but they got to find them a fighter. They got Trump. Trump's doing it right, but I don't know. When you say Mastriano was there, right?
Yes.
So was Vernon Jones.
Right.
Vernon, your guy, Vernon, Mastriano. They're great. They're good cheerleaders. They're but their cause. I appreciate all the fired up the people, but the guy that gets it, that came to the podium, that was directly affected by what happened to Trump, directly was Michael Flynn.
Right.
That's the guy directly affected. He was the most important speaker to me because that guy is who I could be, who you could be. You understand?
Yes.
And that's what the crowd could be. That guy. That guy was the most important speaker to me in the day. And you look around you, you got a lot of patriots. Hey, I don't want to say this on your show, but look, you had scuffles between different factions of people later that night, the Proud Boys, Antifa, and people got stabbed, right? People got stabbed. Well,
yes.
When you get stabbed, what happens? You get bloodshed. Okay, I don't mean this for Proud Boys, Antifa, but that's where we're at. It's really where we're at. Look at it. Not because I said so. I don't want your show and people watching, and next thing people watching your show That's what happened. I'd say the guy that got stabbed bled. I'd say the guy that got punched in the face from the Antifa guy bled. We're at the point of bloodshed in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean,
we're really there now.
It may be two people. It may be two people. It may be four. But the reality is,
like 8 people now.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I understand what you're getting is people may freak out when they say or hear you say that, like, oh, is this country going to come to bloodshed? We know the reality last night.
It's there.
It's there.
I would say if you were standing at them streets, you've seen blood. You're there. Now, just to what level it gets, time will tell. I mean, you asked me about the rally, and it was there. The problem is the Patriots are not allowed to assemble and fight back. But they are. You really can't. I always tell people, hey, you can go do something whether it makes you right or wrong. But they are. They are. Okay? And, of course, they're going to be labeled all this stuff. But wait a minute. What are they fighting back against? They're fighting back against Antifa. They're fighting back against people that's destroying the country. Got to have some kind of pushback. When our own government didn't push back against them, really? Really? None. If you want to know the truth, they're kind of defending them. It's kind of like, look, it was a total setup. They're still on board. They just kind of maneuver in a way to make you look like that they're doing their job, but they're not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, look.
Because a friend of mine, that I call him a friend, he's in the know what them Proud Boys are doing. He called me yesterday and he said, you know, DC police are definitely paid off to side with Antifa because they would not allow the Proud Boys to defend themselves, but then they would walk away. And when the Proud Boys would turn, then Antifa would attack them from behind, and that's where they all got stabbed up. Hold on a second.
All right, folks, hold on just a minute. Don't know what he had to.
Now, I don't know, you know, your show. I don't want it to think we're promoting violence to the Proud Boys, violence to Antifa. But guess what? I'm at home, but it's there. And you know how many people I drove home with 2 guys from where I live? I mean, gun-toting guys, rightfully so. They're all registered, everything. They got them. They're like, what's the first thing they're thinking? Man, there's no way they'll accept this. They just won't. The one guy says, you know, I don't think Donald Trump's going to be seated as president, but I don't think this is going away. It's not going away January 20th. It's not going away a month later. And you understand what I'm saying?
Right. So you think, and
I hate to say this is going to, and I'll be like, oh man, who was saying? My pastor yesterday said it, but he said something, and I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of your listeners probably are Christians. Christians are cowards. They're the weakest link. I'm a born again Christian. But boy, if you would move the masses of the churches, it'd stop. If you would move, listen to me, people, the masses of the churches, it would stop. You got here because the Christians were cowards. They didn't understand to get out and fight. And I don't mean violently. They didn't put up a fight for a while now, and they've lost their education department. Their kids can't go to school. They got to homeschool them. They can't go to school today. They've even lost their churches for a period of time. And it's coming again. It's only temporary. It's only a temporary ruling by the United States Supreme Court. You watch for a period of time. They didn't fight. And guess what? They're getting conquered if they don't hurry up and wake up.
I'll tell you what, Pastor Locke didn't have a problem saying that yesterday.
No. Listen, I was there. I absolutely.
Pastor Locke was.
Did you imagine 1 million churches if there were 1 million pastors there? You say Pastor Locke, but look how many pastors are here in this country. The first thing they'll tell you is not your calling. Well, it's your country, find somewhere else for your calling.
Well, let me ask you this real quick because we got a limited amount of time. So obviously, you believe that the election was corrupt and Joe Biden did not win. and you fought hard in Pennsylvania, out there on the steps of the Capitol and so forth, to try to get your state legislators to direct the electoral votes to Donald Trump. Today, the Electoral College meets, and before the day's out, they're going to cast their votes, and they're going to cast them where Joe Biden will get 270 electoral votes today. Do you feel Biden will be sworn in January 20th? What do you think Trump will do? Will he show
that
up?
I will say yes to, because we got time.
Do I?
A lot of things can take place in this country. We got time. Do I feel like the cowardly states, the corrupt states, the 5 swing states, the stolen states, put their electors in Biden? Yes. Okay. Now, I have people would say to me, because I'm very in tune with this thing, I'm in tune with it as much as anybody in the country, I can tell you that. Probably one of the top patriots. I'm not bragging, but it's real. If you follow where I go, I'm there. Okay? I'm on every... Okay. Your people in the state of Georgia calls their representative, and the Bible says, let your yeses be yeses and noes be no. I'm not here to preach. I'm just saying, don't get caught in their spin. And you ask them one question. Do you believe this election was stolen from Donald Trump? You get a yes or no. You tell them, I don't want it. It starts with stop. I want one word. And we're going to make this short. You got work to do. If they say yes, and they seat that elector for Biden, you're corrupt. At that moment, you check them off, you go after them. There's no in between. There's no, well, we got to think about this down the road. At that point, you check them off, you go after them. If they say no, leave them be. But you cannot have it both ways, and that's where America is. Can't have it both ways, and that's where the government has gone, and that's why it's that way. You got to take a stand. The stand will be, if they say yes, say, are you casting your vote towards, are you casting your vote for Trump or Biden? If that person tells you yes, and he don't stand up for Trump and goes with the Biden tank, even though he's a Republican, you got to check him off and go after him. There is no, we'll fix it later.
Let's check him off and go after him. I understand what you're saying, but I want the audience to understand what
You
that
go after
means.
him every way. I go after him on social media. I go down to his office. He goes to my church. He won't come no more. I mean, you go after him violently. You go after him. You can take that cat in and then you let him off the rest of his life.
I can't hear you.
You go after him in every way. Not violently. You stay away from hurting people. But boy, you let it be known. You shout it from the rooftop that he's not an American. I don't want to hear. I got a guy here, our local representative. He went to Afghanistan. I really don't care. You live in the other A word. It's called America. You live in the other A word, brother. Let's go. And you're going to go vote for Biden? And you told me, my representative, he's done. He's done. He's cooked. He's done. He's done. That electoral college, I will see to it. You hear me? Because he flew a snook in Afghanistan. We got a war right here in America. America first.
All right, so let me be clear, because you were breaking up. I don't know if you're getting away from the phone, got something. I understand you might have things you're doing. But
America first, okay? I don't want to hear anything else. America first. Whoever says, you got to ask that point blank, do you believe the election was stolen from Donald Trump? And you get a one-word answer. And if they go yes, you got to follow this vote registry. I'm telling people how to do this. And then you put that on and you go after them. You go after them in mailers. You go after them in churches. Every way, not violently. You go after them in a compassionate way, but you get rid of them.
you get them out of there.
You get them out of there. And you might not get them out of there at the ballot box. You get them so embarrassed that they want to resign. This stuff, we're going to get them out of the ballot box. You just said it was stolen at the ballot box. You got the same ballot box. You get them so embarrassed they resign. You can't let up, and this is what I'm gonna get involved in the Tea Party here. I'm gonna try to take it over from these knuckleheads. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep going to Washington, keep going to Harrisburg, until they're like, hey, these people didn't let up.
I got two quick things, because I got another 9 o'clock. I got a 9 o'clock guest. So two quick things. Do you take over the Republican Party or start a new party?
I've really never been a big third party. I'll tell you what you do. You see where Donald Trump goes.
Okay, so you wait to see what he does.
He is the leader of our party. You got to have a leader. Okay, if he says he's done with it, well, we got to be done with it. Now, but he's got to be able to, because he's got the numbers. Numbers don't lie. If he stays in it and he just restructures it his way, like he started with, we stay with it. If he goes, there's no way I am following what I just told you. They're one and the same with different letters.
So you're saying contact your representatives, and I know you're not advocating
We've already done that.
violence.
We've done that.
Well, wait a minute. I know you're not advocating violence, but just for our viewers, I want to make sure when you say go after them, but let me just say this. Contact your local representatives, your local state senators, and ask them very simply, do you feel that the election was stolen from Donald Trump? If they say yes, then they're on board with you. If they say no, then it's time to do anything to get them out. Anything. And
then, hold on, you give me the next little phase. I do this. I don't know. I can't. If they say yes, then you ask them, why did you not stand up to give the Electoral College to them? Why did you give the Electoral College to the loser? Let them start telling you law. Say, stop. You did it. And what you need to do is, you need to you can't forget it. You can't get off on the news. The news is going to take you mainstream somewhere, something different. The laptop, they're already going to the laptop. They're going to take you completely off the Trump story because that's what you get. It's what you're going to get feed. It's called news feed, but you got to keep feeding it. You keep feeding it, and it'll grow. You keep feeding it. You feed it, and then you keep going down to these people's door. This is the way I'm going to do it. You just do it any way you want in Georgia. But there ain't no way Georgia is a blue state. Trump won the whole South, but Georgia, go look at the states that Joe Biden ran to. And it wasn't because they were swing states. It was because they were set up states.
Jerry, listen, I know what you have ahead of you in the next couple of days, prepping your job sites, prepping your trucks, prepping your people for this kind of weather. I understand you're up against it. I know you got a lot of work to do, but I appreciate you very much from this show. As your brother won, you, Lee, Sally Maria, Mike, all going down there, Patriots, your buddy Paul, all of the Patriots in America. And that's what my show is about today, is we do support the Patriots 100%. I could not be there, but I want to show support. Hey, thanks a lot. We don't give up. Don't give up.
Absolutely not. We are MAGA patriots.
Okay.
We are Make America Great. We're America first.
I got a 9 o'clock I got to get to. You go. I know what's probably ahead of you, a tough couple days getting everything ready for this snowstorm coming in.
And I'm going to leave you with something.
What you got?
I tell you this on the side. The United States Supreme Court ruling, and you talked to me about this, was not a court ruling. It was a fear ruling. Now, you have to you got to fear something the most. We need to instill fear in them, far greater than the other side. And I don't mean violently. They've got to know that we don't agree.
Have a great day. I got to run.
Got to take our far greater nerves without hurting nobody. Goodbye.
Got to go, buddy. All right, folks. I'm not, I want to make sure you understand, I'm not laughing. It's just, he gets all wound up. Patriots, man, I'm telling you, across this country, they're not finished. They're not quitting. We'll take a break. We have another great guest that not only was there Saturday, but has been on the entire bus tour with us as soon as we return. Take a break.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Okay, folks, we are back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics. As I said this morning, now, look, I understand, okay, Friday, late Friday, the Supreme Court chose not to hear the Texas lawsuit signed on by 17, 18 other states, House members, the list goes on, and they chose not to hear the case. A lot of people felt deflated. Okay, the air came out Friday night, and I told you I was wondering, okay, what would it be like Saturday in Washington, D.C. with the Patriots, the March for Trump bus rally that stopped in Washington Saturday. And I tell you what, hundreds of thousands, we're not for sure on the number, showed up. And our next guest is Bay Cagle. Bay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. First, I want to thank you, and I'll give you a shout out. Bay Cagle is from Pickens County. Big shout out, Pickens County, Georgia. And I remember we were all together somewhere 3-4 weeks ago, I think it was, and you said to me, you said, yeah, and just yesterday somebody called me and said, hey, you want to jump on a bus for 2 weeks and tour the country? So I'm off to Florida. Bill and I are headed down to Florida tomorrow to get on this bus. Give me number 4 really quick. I know you wrote, this is Bay on the screen at one of the events, but give me number 4. This is the March for Trump rally. And then let me show you this really quick, folks. Give me 8. Just go 8. Bay, we're showing the route. Give me number 8, 9, and then 10. And then go back to the rotation. My producer is saying, wait a minute, that's not the numbers you asked for. But if you'll see on the screen, there's 8, 9, and 10. That's the route all the way back. Bay, from Minnesota to Iowa to Michigan to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. Tell us a little bit about this trip that you've been on for the last couple of weeks, March for Trump bus tour.
Well, Brian, first of all, thank you for acknowledging that somebody from Pickens County actually went to Washington, D.C. to represent, because that was over the top special. So let me start with that by saying, to be able to sing the national anthem in Washington, D.C. in front of a huge number of patriots and have the president do a flyover, not once but twice, while I was singing, that was way up there. But to back it up, your last caller was talking about his experience in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and that was our last stop before we came into Washington, D.C. And I can say without a doubt, those people, that was a big crowd. It was a very big crowd, and they are hot under the collar. And every place we went, no matter how cold, no matter how remote it seemed, every place we went, they are hot under the collar. They are not ready to give up. They are ready to stand and fight. We had people following us from Miami, Florida, all the way up the route, whether we went into Minnesota or, some of them jumped in with us as we got to Minnesota, or whether we were in Michigan, and they followed us to this event on Saturday. That's how in the game they are. They are not going to give up. And I know that even on the bus, when we heard about the Supreme Court and their ruling, if you will, or decision not to hear the Texas case, yeah, that was a bump. That was a little speed bump in the road. But we're not giving up. There are so many patriots that simply are not giving up.
I want to go back just really quick and then get back into the bus tour in Saturday. You had an opportunity to sing the national anthem at the rally Saturday. Were you aware that the president was hovering in Marine Force One when you were singing, or did you find that out later?
I was told, a little birdie stepped close to the stage and told me as I stepped on the steps, they said, don't be surprised if the president doesn't fly over while you were singing. And I said, okay, that's great. And so that was my tip off.
Give me number 20 and then go to number 28. Here's number 20. This is you on the stage there. or from the stage, it's the president flying over while
Yeah.
you're singing the national anthem. And here is Bay number 28 singing the national anthem. All right, so across this country, let me do this also, and just to change gears, because I wanted today to be, I don't want to give up hope, and I understand where we're at, Bay. I understand we're hoping the Supreme Court would hear this. We're hoping there's still challenges out there and possibilities of things that could happen, and I get that. But hope in general, wasn't it exciting to see the Patriots all across this country when you stopped everywhere you stop? And while you're talking about Minnesota and Michigan, and of all places, Michigan, they must feel they got robbed like we do.
Yes.
But also talk about being with some of the people like Pastor Locke and Mike Lindell and, Sebastian Gorka and the list goes on. Talk about some of those people you've had an opportunity, great Patriots, to spend with in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I think that with regard to Mike Lindell, he is a major contributor to the Trump March bus, and he met us on so many of our stops. He flew in to be there to speak to the people. So I can't say enough good things about the My Pillow guy. He is all in, and he's 100% convinced that President Trump will continue to be the president of this country. With regard to Pastor Greg Locke and to Brian Gibson, these two pastors sort of jumped on the Trump bus, and they just, they've latched onto it. They are energizers for the people, and again, I can't say enough good things about what they brought to the march and what they will continue to bring to the march. A lot of people listen to them, whether it is on their physical campuses or online platforms, and they have a great message to bring, because this whole movement is more than just a movement about who's my favorite person for president. This seems to be, as I gathered from the people at the various rally stops, this is a spiritual warfare movement, and that might scare some people, but it doesn't scare these patriots at all. I mean, every single stop we made, people were referencing, this is the difference between good and evil. This is not just a matter of, capitalism versus socialism. There's something even underlying that. So that's something that I think that Pastor Locke and Pastor Gibson kind of tapped into, is that people in their churches and their communities have absolutely got to stand up. And if you're a community of faith, you've got to start stepping out on faith. And so what great leaders they are, that they said, okay, we're going to take our schedule, flip them upside down, and we're going with you on the bus. So again, they've kind of met us every step of the way. If they had other things planned, they would, they would fly back out and then come back and meet us. With regard to the various patriots in these different states, Brian, to see people stand outside in really, really cold weather. I'm thinking Des Moines, Iowa was actually the coldest. And there was a huge gathering before we even pulled up. They didn't indicate that they were ready to leave after about 2 hours of us being there. And I think it is Farm Boy Garage is the one that sponsored us at Des Moines, Iowa, as far as hosting the rally. Those guys followed us all the way here to Washington, D.C. They were right there near the stage. Again, they are hot. They are hot under the collar, and they're not backing down. I was blown away. I knew that we had people that supported President Trump, but when you see these good, down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth kind of people in every single state that we stopped, and that was a 16-state tour, when you see these people in action, that's an eye-opener. And it needs to be an eye-opener for the Democratic Party or the Democratic Socialist Party. That needs to be an eye-opener. Every one of these rallies that we went to, one of our speakers, Dustin Stockton, who knows what it's like to be censored heavily by big tech. We would speak about how he has lost his guns in a tragic boating accident, but he was pretty sure that the people at the rally would have his back. They would have things covered if he needed them. And of course, the crowd just goes up and roar, of course, so I think we want to be civil about things. At the same time, there's that agitation that if we needed to defend ourselves, we can. And
what are we on, Bay? Let me ask you a question, because you did, and I like the way you're describing it, because I tell you what, I am probably going to get a little slack for this right here, and I don't want the audience to take this wrong. Okay, I really do not. I don't want it misunderstood, but this is almost like a mission trip. And I know,
it is.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's almost,
yes, there. Yes, just to let you know, on more than one occasion, by more than one speaker, from Mike Lindell to Tana Gertz to David J. Harris Jr., people are talking about a revival.
Right.
That's what they're talking about, a revival.
And I want to say that, and it's almost like a mission trip, but I got goosebumps thinking about what it was like for you to get off a bus everywhere you went. And obviously the people in the Northwest they're different, and these people are different here and different there, but you all had a common bond. Each and every one, and it was called being patriots and loving this country first. Just the love of your country was the first thing, no matter if they were from Michigan, Iowa, no matter where you stopped that day, in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, in Ohio. There was a common bond with everybody in the room. And
yes, you nailed that, Brian. That is exactly right. This was a love of country and love of God, and just a love of the American traditions. It was, as President Trump would say, it's a love fest, and it is. It really is. I mean, these people aren't standing around thinking about how can I knock down the next building and go get me a free dishwasher. They are standing. I mean,
that was pretty good.
They're standing there loving their president, and the acts of creativity. Some of these people have created huge floats that they have followed the bus with their huge floats. I mean, massive amounts of work has gone into that. These signs that people have created, you name it. Those are acts of love.
Okay,
And
I've got to move on to two things before we get our next guest. Amy Kramer is going to be with us at 9:30. So excited this morning to talk to you guys. Let me ask you this. You said a couple times, and I want to get what your definition is of this, and when you say, and what you hear from people across this country, because you said a couple times, not backing down. You said not backing down. Now, today, the electoral, let me just put a couple things here. I, for one, feel very strongly, adamantly, that the election has been stolen from the President of the United States through corruption and other means, mail-in ballots. So I do think that Joe Biden is president-elect. I do not think on January 20th he will be a legitimate president, but those are all my personal feelings. I don't know what you ran into on the campaign trail. I mean, well, I call it out there on the trail. But let me say this. Today, the Electoral College meets, and they'll cast enough votes to call 270. And January 20th, not to upset our viewers, you or anybody on the bus, January 20th, I feel they will swear him in, unless something's out there that's getting ready to happen that I'm not aware of, and I'm not in the loop knowing what may happen. When you say not backing down, what do you think that means? What's that feel like out there? And what do you think when you say not backing down, these people across the country mean by that?
Well, I guess to repeat what you said, there's too much belief in this was a stolen election. There's too many people that believe that with everything in them. They've seen proof of it, and they are not going to recognize Biden as a president, and they are going to do everything possible to ensure that President Trump is sworn in January. And to the extent, regardless of that, they are so motivated, they are going to make sure that communities everywhere get transformed. So, Obama, watch out, because you have poked the bear, and there are patriots that do not need the credit. They're simply going to go about doing their work, and they're going to ensure that our communities, one by one, get transformed back to the America that we know stands for liberty, freedom, and justice for all.
Okay, out there in Michigan, we'll keep using that. Iowa and Minnesota, we'll use those for examples. But across the bus trip, how many of them talked to you about Georgia in the upcoming election?
My gosh.
Yeah.
Every one of them, of course, they can tell when I open my mouth. They say, okay, you're from the South. Where are you from? And, I tell them, I'm from Georgia. Hey, don't hold it against me. And they said, oh, man, you've got a problem down there. We're praying for you. I had people that said, they came from South Dakota and from Iowa down to Georgia to help knock doors. So these people are all in, and they're very aware of the battleground that is in Georgia. Yeah, it's everywhere you go. They know that Georgia is crucial, and they have, in their own way, they have done what they can to help make a difference.
Stacey Abrams said yesterday on CNN that the Democrats are in a good place January 5th. They've got 1.2 million absentee ballots ready to go that are already returned, I think, is what she said. How concerned are you and some of the people you ran into about the January 5th, the accuracy of it? And what did you hear on the bus tour as far as people talking about, are you there? Oh, okay. Where did I lose you?
I lost you right there.
Okay. So to wrap
you
up.
You said Stacey Abrams seems to think they've got it in the bag.
Yes, I'm sorry. Before we got disconnected, Stacey Abrams said, and this has to be our last subject before we go to break, but Stacey Abrams said this weekend on CNN that Democrats are in a good place. They got 1.2 million mail-in ballots ready to go, and she thinks that Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Raffensperger are just getting attacked by the president for doing their job. What say you on the upcoming election? Or do you have concerns? Did the people you meet on the bus tour, did they have concerns that if the president feels or if he got robbed, we'll call it that in Georgia, that the January 5th is going to be on the up and up? What's the concern you hear?
We're all very concerned. There has been no movement from the governor or from the Secretary of State that has indicated that anything has been remedied. There is huge concern at all of the rallies. Don't you think that if you vote this time, if you haven't changed the system, that you're going to have the same results? Yes, we have to answer. So we're very concerned. All I can tell you is I'm heading back home today. Wednesday, I'll be poll watching. At least Pickens County GOP. I know several GOPs in the 9th district. They are motivated. They've got their people out there to make sure that they've got their eyes and their ears open and ready to point out any irregularities. But there's huge concern.
Bay, I want to say welcome home today, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, one of the many patriots across this country, because not only are you you're just coming home because you've been on a bus tour, you're going to come home and start poll watching in your local community. And that's what we all need to do as patriots. Bay Cagle, yes. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking your personal time and going on this bus tour. Thank you for crossing this country and singing God Bless America, and how many times you had an opportunity to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And we welcome you home this afternoon. Have a safe trip. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, we're going to take a brief break, but before we do, I just want to mention I want to say this, okay? And sometimes people, I'm pushing back as I was getting the show ready this morning. I'm pushing back tears, and I want to be honest with you. I really am, because it's so exciting to me. I haven't lost hope. I don't want you to lose hope, and that's what I wanted to do this morning. I wanted to do a show based on hope. Okay, we haven't given up. We don't give up. This is America. We're not giving up. We will do what we have to do. All right. And this right here, one of the great interviews I wanted to do here with Bay Cagle from Pickens County. She's not just coming home after 2 weeks because she, just go take some time off. She's going straight to poll watching in her local community tomorrow. What say you? Patriots, don't lose hope. We've just begun the fight, and let's get out and do what we have to do. Okay. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the chair of Women for America First, Amy Kramer, will be with us. Take a break.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics. And I told you what I wanted to do this morning. And Friday, I'm with all of you. Friday evening, we got the message that got the word that the Supreme Court would not hear the Texas case. We're together in this. Okay, we're together in this. And I thought all weekend, because I started getting the text messages, oh, we're so blank, and and what cowards, and so on and so forth. And what do we do next? And I thought what we should do on this December 14th is to have a show surrounding patriots and hope. I'm serious, okay? Because people have not given up in this country. We are America, and there is hope out there. So I thought that we would set the show up that way. We now are joining us now. Wait, before I get into this, Karl Rove said this weekend the president's starting to look like a sore loser. A sore loser. What's Joe Biden looking like? I mean, what is a crooked election? What do criminal? I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know. If I have a choice of taking sore loser and where Trump's at right now and Joe Biden, I'm going to take sore loser. Sorry about that. Chairwoman of America First, Chairwoman of Women for America First. Sorry about that. Amy Kramer joins us now. Amy, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I just had to say that real quick. That just smoked me yesterday, calling my president a sore loser.
Yeah, he's not a sore loser. He knows that there's corruption going on, just like, all the rest of us do. And they think they're going to make him back down by calling him names, because they usually do that and it works. We know that if it were any other Republican, they would have conceded a long time ago. But we also know that if it were any other Republican, they wouldn't have lasted like Donald Trump. They would have resigned, and the vice president would have become the president. But thank God we have Donald J. Trump, and he's a fighter. He's our lion, and he's not going to back down. And we don't want him to back down. We want him to expose all this voter fraud.
Okay, so you just put a lot out there that we want to unpack. Let's start with the first of all, Facebook took down a Facebook page that you put up. Am I correct?
That's correct. It was the Stop the Steal group that was started the day after the election, and within 22 hours, it grew to have 365,000 members, all organically. And not only did it have 365,000 members, it had 2.1 million people in the queue waiting to be approved for membership.
You couldn't approve them fast enough. If you just sit there and just did nothing but approve nonstop, that was the backlog of getting them approved.
That's exactly it. And so there have been articles written, the tech world's never seen anything like it. You could not spend millions of dollars to have that kind of growth. I mean, to buy it, you couldn't do it. It's not possible. And so they shut it down, and they said we were inciting violence and sending out disinformation, which is absolutely absurd. And the thing is, honestly, it was not just, we're not just a group. I mean, we are a organization that is verified on Facebook and has been for, a number of years. And I'm verified. So it's not like we're just some rogue people, right? We actually started it under the Women for America First page because we thought they would not take it down because of being a nonprofit and that sort of thing. But look, we scared them. They knew they couldn't have that there, and they shut it down. But that's not all they shut down. MailChimp shut down our account. They still have our data, won't give it to us, as well as Eventbrite. We went and created an Eventbrite group in order to so people could quote unquote buy tickets to go to the March for Trump that Saturday, November 14th. And we figured we could email them directly through Eventbrite. Within 36 hours, Eventbrite not only shut down that event, they returned all the donations.
And they said it had been canceled. Did they not say it had been canceled?
Yep. They sent an email to every person that had signed up saying the event had been canceled because it didn't meet their community standards or whatever, which was complete BS. I mean, we are being censored every which way we turn. I honestly feel like, and then what YouTube did last week with their changing their policies, Right Side Broadcasting Network has been on the bus with us going across the country. Then all of a sudden they say, we're not going to stream anything live that talks about, the results of the election are incorrect, or the election being stolen, or that sort of thing. I honestly, it's like, are we living in Nazi Germany? I've never seen anything like it.
I've watched Right Side Broadcasting since they just started streaming their first Trump rally. And I think that's just a great group of people that have gotten together just to actually show things, the events. But I got a text you last week. And as you well know, Bay Kegel on the bus there with you traveling, she would keep me up throughout the trip, telling me what was going on when you guys got to different cities and locations. And I got a text yesterday, last week, Right Side Broadcasting just got shut down by YouTube. I was like, what? I mean,
yep.
And so I understand that if we say, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I watch all the morning shows on Sunday, and I watch the Chris Wallace and them get angry because certain people will not say President-elect Biden. Let me go back to the bus tour, March for Trump. Tell everybody, and we'll get it up to D.C. Saturday. How did this get started out? March for Trump bus rally. Who thought this up? who got together and say, let's do this, let's go across the country. And then also, when we're done, I understand you're not finished. You're going to add some more stops. But talk about the inception of this, when it got started.
So we did last fall, when the Democrats were holding the impeachment hearings in the House of Representatives. We did a March for Trump in D.C. It was very successful. People came from all across the country in a short amount of time. We had that on Capitol Hill. So then fast forward to December, when the House was getting ready to send the articles to the Senate, we said we have to stand for our president. We got to march for Trump again. So again, we did another event at Christmas time, a week before Christmas. People came from all across the country. And so then as this happened and we saw what was happening after Election Day and these rallies started, I live in Roswell, Georgia. The day after the election, right after we started the Stop the Steal group, a couple hours later, my daughter and I were sitting there. She's our executive director, Kylie Jane Kramer. And we're like, we got to do something. We need to go down to State Farm Arena where they're counting the votes. And I said, Kylie, nobody's going to show up down there. I mean, it's like 8:45 at night. She said, but we have to. So we put out a note on Facebook and said, meet us there at 9:45. And we thought we'd be the only two there. Well, lo and behold, there's, 15 people show up, and we're the two minorities there, honestly. And so anyway, after we left, people kept coming and coming. And so, then people started showing up down there every day. Then we did the big rally with over 1,000 people at the Capitol. And so it was like, okay, there's something going on here. We need to take this to Washington and march for Trump. And so we filed for the permits within a matter of 4 to 5 days. And on November 14th, I'm always the girl that thinks I'm going to have a party and nobody shows up. And so, we get here to Washington and it's like, OMG, I can't believe all these people that are here. And we had approximately I've heard an official number of 1.4 million people. So the streets were packed. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But before the event was over that day, people were calling, email, texting, saying, I didn't know about it. Had I known about it, I'd be there. Let's do another one. We can't let them steal this election. When do you want to go again? So on and so forth. So it was like, well, the obvious time to go is Saturday, December 12th. That's 2 days before the electors cast their votes with the Electoral College. And so we put it out there, and it got a lot of traction. And about 2 or 3 days later, actually, our team was still in Washington tying up all the loose ends on that and getting getting ready to file for permits for December 12th. And I looked at them and I said, y'all are going to think I'm nuts, but how about we take the March for Trump on the road? How about we get a bus and take it on the road? And I thought they were going to tell me I was nuts and crazy. And they were like, absolutely, let's do it. Let's roll. So we put in the order for the bus. We started plotting and planning, and we put together that tour within 10 days, and Thanksgiving weekend fell in the middle of that. But we launched 2 weeks ago from Miami, had a great event there, and we crisscrossed the country and ended up here this past Saturday for the rally we had on Saturday, where for the second time, the first time we did the event on November 14th, the president came to our party. He did a drive-by in the Beast, and the smile on his face, he was like a kid in the candy shop at Christmas time. And then on Saturday, he came to our party again. He did a flyover in Marine One 2 times, and that was just simply amazing. And actually, he did that flyover as Faye Cagle was singing the national anthem. And I don't know if Faye's ever been on your show, but we met Faye through Katie Cagle, her daughter, who works for Congressman Doug Collins. And that's how Faye came with us on the bus. I had met her once before, but really didn't know her. And I was like, I don't know, I don't know if this is for her, because these bus tours are not easy. I would never do another tour without Faye, as long as she would join us. Her voice, I didn't even know she could sing, but the woman's voice is absolutely beautiful, amazing. She did the most beautiful national anthem And as she is wrapping up the national anthem, here comes President Trump for the second time in Marine One flying right over. And it was just, I mean, it was like God looking down on us and shining, that day, shining up on us that day. It was just simply amazing.
Bay's a real example, patriot example of where we should be. And when people ask how you get involved and what do you do, Bay is not coming home today just to take care of personal things she has to tomorrow because she's been on the road. She's coming home today so she could go tomorrow and start poll watching. I mean, so I got to give her a shout out. You're 100% right. I want to get a couple more things in if we can. The electricity, the excitement of getting off the bus from Tampa to Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, and the Patriots there. Some places of the country, they wear earmuffs, some wear cowboy hats, but the true blue Americans, everywhere you got off the bus, no matter where you were at, there was a unifying, there's something unifying about each and every one that you meet. Talk about that excitement in the bus tour all across this country.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm former chairman of Tea Party Express, and we were one of the organizations that branded the Tea Party movement better than anyone else with that bus. And the significance of the bus, I always used to say, look, any one of us on the bus can be replaced. The bus cannot be replaced. And the bus is a real rock star. And the reason it was a rock star is because the bus was something that went across America and took a little piece of every American that joined us along on the ride. And what was important, and it's the same thing on this, is that I know there are millions of Americans out there sitting. I don't care if it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever. They are watching what's happening and they're feeling helpless and they're feeling hopeless and they're thinking, I know he did not lose this election. How can this be happening in front of our very eyes? In this country I love so much, and many of them, this country that, I've gone, put on the uniform and fought for. And I want those Americans to know that they are not alone, even if they're sitting out on their farm, somewhere in flyover country. They are not alone. There are millions of us out here that are thinking and feeling the same way. And that's why we took the bus, to give those people hope. I'm blessed because I get to travel and I get to be with people every single day, and we feed off each other. We encourage each other. And that's why I wanted to take the bus, to give those people hope, to let them know that we're out here. And every time we go someplace, we take a little piece of them with us. And that's what we wanted to do. That's what our message is. And we announced on Saturday that the buses are not ending here in Washington, D.C. We are going to keep the buses on the road. We have not announced that location where the buses are going yet. We're still plotting that out. We'll probably be announcing that later today. But I will tell you, we have had so many requests from Arizona, California, Nevada, and people say, why would you go there? California is a lost cause. It's a blue state. But as Sidney Powell, we've heard talk about it, and others, we need these American people to keep their hope alive and stay engaged and stay focused, because it is not over. There are still several paths to victory. I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV, so I really can't go into that. But there are still several paths to victory, and we need these people engaged. So I think what we're going to do is take the buses west, spend some time out there with those people that feel like they're, never a part of anything because they're so far to the west. And then we'll be back to Georgia probably for the Senate race and help a little bit there, do what we can. And we just need people to know that it's not over, to stay with our president and encourage him and encourage each other, because we're all in this together.
Two things I want to cover before we close here, and I can't thank you enough for spending your time this morning with us, is I want to talk about some of the people that were with you on this bus tour. And then I want to wrap up, and I want to get into the Georgia election, upcoming Georgia election. And, the president, several tweets he's put out about the governor, secretary of state, and so on. So let's start with this first. Talk about how what it's been like to spend the last couple of weeks with people like, first of all, Saturday you had General Flynn, and you had Senator Mastriano, and you had Vernon Jones, and the last couple of weeks being with Pastor Locke and Mike Lindell and Sebastian Gorka. And I don't mean to leave any names out, but talk about what it's been like to be with these Patriots the last couple of weeks on the bus up to DC.
Look, you know what? This is the thing. They're all people just like you and I that love this country and love this president and can't believe what's going on in front of us. And they're human beings. They too, need encouragement, need to stay engaged. And when I say we like our president, he needs us now more than ever. But we, the American people, also need him, and we need to see him continue that fight, not to give up. Like I said, because he is our lion. And so when I'm saying that about us, we the people, Sebastian Gorka, Mike Lindell, all these people are the same way. They want him to continue to fight. They can't believe what is going on. They're no different than you and I. You just see him on TV. Mike Lindell, he is one of the most passionate people I've ever met. His happiness is contagious. He loves Jesus. I mean, his life story, I don't know if you know anything about him, but he was a crack addict. He has pulled himself up by the bootstraps, started My Pillow here in America, and has become, a multimillionaire. He is living the American dream. People know him as the My Pillow guy. Not this past Saturday, not 2 nights ago, but the Saturday before, right in the middle of the bus tour, Saturday Night Live spoofed him. They do a skit with Mike Lindell, and I don't know if you've ever realized this, but when he does his commercials, he always has a cross necklace on. And when he is in a suit, which the only time I've ever seen him in real life is in a suit, he's got a cross lapel pin on that's like colored like the American flag. But when Saturday Night Live did their spoof, they held up a pillow saying, if you're a Democrat, you can fit however many million ballots in this pillow or whatever. They left off his cross. And that was intentional, and that really bothers him. But the bottom line is, Jesus is in his heart. He feels like he's doing the right thing. He is just another American that loves this country like you and I. General Flynn, God bless him and his family. They have been through hell. He's a friend of mine, and I can tell you that all this time that, we've stayed in touch. I met and had lunch with him. We text and whatnot. He is like, just keep the faith. God has got this. God's in control. I mean, and this has been the past couple of years, and now he's free to speak, and his family, they were all there with him. I mean, they're just amazing people, just like you and I. And I thank God that they have put aside their, because it's real easy to live a private life. It's not so easy to live a public life, but these people have gone out there and done it. And I thank God, because we need them out there on the front lines, encouraging those that do feel helpless and hopeless.
I've listened to Pastor Locke and several, and I tell the viewers, don't get upset because they might misunderstand the way I put this, but to me, it's somewhat like a mission trip.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is. 2 things: Georgia election, and I got the last one's a quick closer, but Georgia election, January 5th, we have an election here in Georgia. We have 2 senators on the ballot, the balance of power. What are you hearing across the country? How do you feel? I mean, the President of the United States, we don't have to take the time. I think you and I both know how he feels about our governor here in Georgia. You're in Georgia, I am also. And our Secretary of State and Lieutenant Governor, and it's been a real Twitter battle. What say you about the upcoming election here in Georgia? And actually, where do you come down on some of these things where the governor, Secretary of State, and Lieutenant Governor have been in certifying this national What happened?
I don't know. I dropped the call.
Okay, we're back. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to say this. As Georgians, we have to defeat the fraud. We need to go out there. There's so much at stake that we have to keep these 2 Senate seats. It is not just about Republican versus Democrat or Kelly Loeffler, David Perdue against Warnock and Ossoff. This is about the foundation of this country. This is about the Republic and our Constitution and the American way of life. And so I need everybody to get off their couches, get engaged. Even my mother, I just lost my father in April of this year. And my mother this past week, I called her and was like, Mom, you need to come join the bus. She was like, honey, I'm out knocking doors for Kelly Loeffler. And I can't believe what I'm hearing, because my mother's never been an activist her whole life. And here's my 70-something-year-old mother out knocking doors for Kelly Loeffler. I mean, it made me cry, seriously. So we need people to get out there, get engaged. We need poll watchers. We need, people out there spreading the word about what's at stake and making sure that we retain those 2 U.S. Senate seats. And I mean, when I say the future of our nation is at stake here, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not being cliche. It is at stake, and we have to hold the U.S. Senate.
Okay, close with this. You Tea Party Express bus. Going back a couple years ago, I was in Washington, D.C., and I wasn't able to be there Saturday, but I'm proud to say I had a niece, sister, and a brother that attended. And going back, Tea Party, when I think it was 2009 when we were there, or 10, okay, we had 1 million people there, and it was a Tea Party rally at that time. And that was actually the birth of the Tea Party across this country. And,
right.
And you were involved with Tea Party Express. When we came home, we created all these different Tea Parties in different counties that got a lot of people elected in 2010. What is the difference this time in the movement? What is the difference that you see in the movement and the original Tea Party Express bus? What's the difference with Americans this time? Because I feel we're back at that point.
I can't say that there's a lot of difference other than it's more defined. And when I say defined, when the Tea Party movement started, people think it started because of Barack Obama. It didn't start because of Barack Obama. It really started because Republicans were fed up with the out of control spending, the growing big government. And then Barack Obama came in and, exacerbated it with the government takeover of our healthcare system. I think it's more defined. And when I say more defined, what I mean is that we have a president for the first time in my lifetime that is America first, that truly is putting America and her people first. And that's what I'm asked all the time, what happened to the Tea Party movement? And I would say the Tea Party movement's still here. We've just morphed into something bigger and better, and that is the MAGA movement. Were it not for the Tea Party movement, we would not have President Donald J. Trump, I'm convinced. And so this movement has become about America first. And we all know that part of the problem is that when you get to Washington, D.C., and you talk about establishment means both Democrats and Republicans. They go to the floor of the Senate, to the House, and they rail on each other and each other's policies. But when they leave that Capitol, they're all hobnobbing on K Street with the lobbyists at the same party, because they're globalist, corporate, it's big business, corporate America, and they're not putting the American people first. So what we're fighting for here is we need to elect people not only on a federal level, but on a state level that puts America first and keeps the America First agenda and policies going forward. And that's actually something that we're going to be focused on going forward. We just had a meeting last night with our team about organizing, on a state level to make sure that we have the people and the tools in place to continue to do this. We're going to be going after Republicans and Democrats that are not putting America first. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And so we are right back at it, and we'll be out there continuing this fight.
You know what I see as the difference, because I was very involved in the Tea Party. Again, I went to Washington, D.C., and I went to a lot of Tea Party rallies and meetings, and I agree with you all too well that I tell you the difference I see this time. And you know, a lot of Tea Parties was every man for themselves in a lot of ways. This movement has a leader. And
Right.
I think that's the difference. Now, I mean, a lot of great people like yourself and myself, I don't call myself a great person, but a lot of people like us are back. Not that we ever got out of it, but we're re-energized by this, and we're back into a strong movement. We're seeing it across this country. And I think this time there's leadership at the top.
I do agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. We do have a leader, and that's President Donald J. Trump. And he will not, he will not back down. He absolutely will not back down. Washington hates him. Republicans hate him. Democrats hate him. And the reason why simply is because they can't control him. And that means corporate America cannot control the agenda. If Donald J. Trump is in the White House, the American people are controlling the agenda, and not corporate America, not these globalists. And I think that is what is important here. And I thank God for President Trump every single day. I truly do.
Okay, I'm supposed to be done at 10. It is 10, but you did say, so will you close with this? You did say that you and others see several other pathways between now and January 20th. You feel good about some of the pathways, or you feel strong and hopeful that there's still opportunities out there that President Trump will serve another 4 years?
So I can tell you this, like I said, I'm not an attorney, but I, as I said to Boris Epstein on Saturday, I said, Boris, I'm not an attorney. I don't understand all these legal pathways and whatnot. But when the U.S. Supreme Court turned down the Texas case, it was a punch in the gut. I need to understand, is it really over? And he said, absolutely not. It's not over. He said, there are several pathways. It is very, very possible that we win this thing. We come out on top. It's very likely. And he said, call me and I'll fill you in and explain it all to you. Well, honestly, I've not had a chance to call Boris, but I'm getting Boris on the phone this morning. And actually, if people will go to Facebook and follow along on our Facebook page, we're Women for America First, and it's a verified page. I'm hoping to do a live stream with Boris either later today or tomorrow, so that he can explain the different paths and where we go from here. So that people don't lose hope, and so that they stay engaged. Because as I said, we've heard Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani say we need the people to stay engaged. And so we need to understand it. And so I'm focused on getting that information out to our supporters. So go to facebook.com, Women for America First, and hopefully we'll have something up there later today to explain to people. If Boris tells me that there are pathways, and Sidney Powell is saying there absolutely are pathways, and then there have to be pathways. These people would not go out and destroy their own reputation and future, if there weren't pathways. I just don't believe that.
Amy Kramer, chairwoman of Women for America First. Thank you so much for taking your time and being with us. And
Thank you, Brian.
We'll be watching for the next leg of the bus trip out west. And hope to have you back real soon. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, people can go to TrumpMarch.com to see where we're going. And like I said, it should be up later today.
Amy, thank you very much. Enjoy your day. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great day. God bless.
All right, folks. Sorry about the little technical losing the call there, a little technical break there. But Amy Kramer with us this morning. What a great morning. Don't give up hope, folks. Do not. I know what's going to happen. It is December 14th, 2020. And you're going to hear later today all of the media just gush over Joe Biden getting the electoral votes needed, to be the president of the United States. I understand you're going to hear that today. We didn't get any ruling from the Supreme Court. They won't hear the case Friday. Again, the Electoral College meets today. You're going to hear that. Get out and vote, early voting. Don't get disappointed. People have not given up. Patriots all across this country. I've enjoyed the show. Yes, we will get back in the saddle ASAP as far as talking about corruption with Joe Biden and the Chi-Coms and all the rest. But until tomorrow morning, you have a great day. And if you're up there in the Northeast, get your snow shovel out. I don't own a snow shovel. I am happy to say. I'll be back Tuesday morning, 8 a.m.